Welcome back, everyone, to the Bald Guy and the Fat Boy podcast. I'm joined with my buddy, the Fat Boy,
Roll Tide.
and I'm the Bald Guy for obvious reasons. And we're here for another episode of our podcast. And it's an interesting week. We'll just say that.
To say the least.
It's been a roller coaster. There's been highs, there's been lows. And we're gonna start out tonight with a high. You're wearing your Rangers shirt over there, and the Rangers have swept their second postseason series as of right before the recording of this podcast. And I'm excited, man. I told my kids a while ago, I broke the news to them that I'm probably gonna break into their college fund to go to a World Series game if Texas makes it back to the World Series.
Yeah, the Rangers, after we were down on them a little bit after what the way they kind of,
Back
for lack of a better term,
back
in the playoffs, laid egg in Seattle, come out of Seattle flat. However you want to describe it, it wasn't all roses going into Tampa Bay. But they picked up momentum in Tampa Bay by sweeping them. Now they went on to Baltimore. Now they swept them. So now that there's some mo on our side, and our hitting is just phenomenal right now. And we got they broke the news today that Scherzer and Jonathan Gray are both going to be in the rotation against what we think is going to be Houston. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow or the next day or whenever it is, but we think that's going to be Houston. So, that's what we want. We'll just figure out who the best one is after that.
I don't know if that's who we want, but we'll take it. I mean, Houston just went up 2-1 today. So, I mean, they've got one more game to clinch that series, and they'll be coming to town. And the next one's going to be a little tougher. The next one's a best of 7. And I know you're grinning ear to ear over there. You're as excited as you can be. I still want to just pump the brakes a little bit and know I've told you from the beginning, this team can be as hot as anybody in baseball, and they can run off a win streak. But once they start losing, they hadn't lost a game yet in the postseason. If they lose a game, that game after that is where everybody's going to be on pins and needles, because as high as this team can be, we can be right down there on the bottom again.
Yeah. I hear you, but right now I'm flying on cloud 9, and until somebody knocks me off of it, I think I like this seat, so I think I'll just stay right here.
You're just gonna stay up there and just keep saying sunshine and rainbows, everything's okay.
That's right. Just pour me out a bag of Skittles and let's go.
Hey, I've been saying this, and they just keep winning. So, like I said, we'll just keep it moving and ride on down the road. All right. So,
yeah,
go ahead. What you got? Come on.
Well, yeah, but Seager, the crowd was chanting when he was at bat tonight. MVP. If he's not in contention for that, he dang well should be. I agree with the crowd on MVP for sure. Seager is been either our most valuable player or the most valuable player in baseball. So, whether you want to argue that or not, that's fine. I just agree with the crowd.
Yeah, I don't think I see it. He has been Texas's best player. I think Aroldis could have been that if he hadn't got hurt and been out for a while. But I mean, yeah, of course, we're homers. We think he should be MVP. I just don't know if he's going to. We'll see. I mean, when do they award that? Is it
at a dumb time that I never can remember, like after the World Series or something? I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll have to look into that. I just wanted to. The only reason I even said anything about it because the crowd was chanting it, and I agree with that. And the crowd also chanted, "We want Houston." I know you don't, but I agree with that because might as well because that's who it's going to be anyway. So they're just acting like we ain't scared, and so we just got to go with it. So I really enjoyed the atmosphere that the crowd showed on TV, and Bruce Bochy and the players itself, and It was just a good atmosphere in Texas, and I get pumped up when we start winning. So it's just the way it is.
Hey, if this is all it took, man, we should have built a dome stadium a long time ago.
That's for sure.
I mean,
But I'm coming from somebody that's coming from somebody that sat in the bleachers at the stadium before the ballpark.
right?
So I go back. I'm on my third stadium as a Ranger fan because I sit in the old bleachers out in the outfield at the old Texas Rangers stadium, and you talking about hot. It was forevermore hot out in the bleachers, Jack. So 72 inside, ain't nothing better than that.
I hadn't been. I haven't been to the new stadium, and that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons I'm sitting here going. If they go to the World Series, I'm going to go watch my first game in the new stadium in the World Series. And
that would be cool, but with me and you share an acquaintance, and I went with my buddy Tim Moody. I'll even give him a name drop.
he may not want you saying his name on here. He may not want anybody.
He may not.
Us.
He don't know that we're associated with me. Excuse me. But yeah, we went to a game and had a good time, and I've been to all three stadiums that the Rangers have played in since they've been in Texas. So I'm very much looking forward to them seeing what's next.
Sometimes I forget how old you are. You start talking about three stadiums. I mean, that just
yeah. I go back three stadiums.
Yeah, hate yourself a little bit. All right, so we've had good news with the Rangers. We'll see. Let Houston finish business. Let the Rangers get rested up, and let's see what happens in that next series. So, we got to talk about a little depressing news. Well, let me
I hate this part.
Hold on. Let me interject something else real quick first. Let me go ahead and put it out there. The Red River rivalry did not go the way I expected it to go.
Went exactly how I wanted it to go.
Saturday, while you were putting out videos, taking a victory lap over here, some of us were having to deal with, not optimum circumstances, but that's just the way it goes. I am excited about the fact that I looked and Texas has the 5th best odds to be in the playoffs, even with the loss to OU. So I'm still sitting here with a little bit of hope. That's not normally how I roll, but it was a close game. It wasn't a blowout. I'm going to hang my hat on that for right now.
Okay.
So you were high Saturday, and then we got to Sunday. I was already low Sunday. How did you feel about your Dallas Cowboys? Tell me how you felt.
Before or after the game?
No, we know before the game, you wanted to see healthy teams come in there, play y'all's best, our best. Let's see what comes out. You said that last week. Well, you got it. Now, how do you feel?
No. I saw the Cowboys over and over shoot yourselves in the foot. 3 interceptions by DAK, which I'll get to that in a minute. Just a terrible football game. We cannot play a good game in San Francisco. San Francisco, by far, is on. There's 3 tiers, in my opinion, in the NFL now. The San Francisco tier, the Philadelphia, Kansas City tier, and a couple other teams on that tier, and then everybody else. And Dallas is down there with everybody else.
I can't believe all it took was one. We lost just this bad to Arizona.
No, yes, I agree with that. But to me, this ain't gonna be unless you watch, because there's, like I told you, there's an old sportscaster. Watch the damn games, and there's a big difference between the way we played and the way we lost in Phoenix, and the way we played and the way we lost in San Francisco. I know they ended up the same on the box score, but they're two totally different outcomes of how the game went to me. So I'll just leave it at that. I don't even. That's too much nuance for our podcast. We just got to.
So you've taken them and you had them up here in at least the second tier.
I had them on the Philadelphia, Kansas City tier.
And now they're just down there with everybody else.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So you're way down on them. I personally think and this is going to blow your mind. I think that was one of the best jobs I've seen done by McCarthy and Dak, probably maybe ever. I really do. Because do you know how hard it was for them to go? And Dan Quinn had to be in on this too, to go in and set up San Francisco the way they did.
No, I don't.
They come in there. Listen. They come
Go
in,
ahead.
they put everybody up, and they said, hey, well, this game means a lot to us. It's revenge for the playoffs. It's this, it's that. It wasn't none of that. This is a regular season game that doesn't mean anything. If they lose it, they can go win the rest of them. And they had an opportunity to give San Francisco a false sense of confidence and really make them think they had their number. And I think that's what happened. I think it iced the cake when they went in at halftime and McCarthy set Dak down. He said, hey, this is going exactly what we wanted. You see how they're doing over there, but let's make them think you're the guy you were last year. And I need you to go out there and throw the ball to them a couple times. Just make it tight and do it. And I think that one that was deflected, they were going to say, oh, well, that wasn't really that bad a throw on Dak's part. So he had to throw the other one over the receiver and let him get picked off, just so they really do think that Dak's that bad against their defense. And I think we have them right where we want them.
Okay. Can I ask you a quick question? Are you one of the people think the earth's flat?
No.
I believe the earth is flat, like I believe what you just said. So
why do you think that's a bad deal, man? I'm telling you. We have, if we had to line up and play it again next week, we would kill them because they would be so overconfident.
Okay. That's your opinion. I'm glad you got it. I don't have that. So we're just gonna have to keep moving on.
I think I'm more confident about Super Bowl this year than I was before.
That's good. I'm glad you are. I assume you're talking about two different teams other than Dallas. But that's
I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys. I don't understand why you can't see that. Could they have set it up any better? Could they have set it up any better? No, they could. There's nothing they could have done to make the 49ers feel better about the game plan.
Well, that's definitely a take on the situation. I don't know what kind of take it is, but it's a take.
I mean, I can't believe you didn't see it. Most of the time, you have an eye for some stuff like this.
No, I don't see it. All I see at this point is a team with a middle of the pack quarterback and a excellent defense. I
see, but you don't believe that the defense kind of threw that game too? I mean, the 49ers scored in 50 seconds.
I believe that the 49ers had enough weapons to expose our defense where most other teams don't. So you got your take and I've got mine, and they're not even close. So
man, I'm telling
we
you.
just gonna okay, so in talking about that, I talked to you earlier in the week kind of because we talk about what we're going to talk about on this podcast. Believe it or not, I know some people don't think we do. Some people think we roll out of bed and put the podcast on there, but we don't do that. My buddy, the guy I mentioned earlier, I won't say his name again, but like you said, maybe you don't want to be associated with me. He has harped on me for years that Dak would never win a championship here, and I up until this last game, I was vehemently against that take. I was Dak this and Dak that. I was glad when we got him. I was sure that the offensive coordinator was the problem. I was this, I was that. This last game, Dak has made me come off the Dak train. I am now on the platform watching Dak go by because he gets into big pressure situations and he fumbles like a cheap lawn chair. So therefore, until proven otherwise, I'm still a Cowboy fan. Don't get me wrong, but I am not. I am not buying stock in DAK. I am not buying stock in making it deep in the playoffs, and I sure ain't buying no stock in the Super Bowl. I am off the DAK train. My old buddy, he got what he wanted. He wanted me off of him. He was off of Romo the same way he was off of DAK. Now with Romo, then I was off Romo. Then I was with DAK, now I'm off of DAK. Until proven otherwise, that's where I stand.
So you're a Trey Lance guy now?
Well, I don't think Trey Lance will be the next quarterback of the future of the team. So no, I don't know who our next quarterback will be. I support the Cowboys 100%. But I can support the Cowboys without being a DAK fan. And
Okay,
that's just the way it is.
so you're an anti-DAK guy now. So what about McCarthy? Do you give McCarthy a pass in this? I mean, where are you at? Or Dan Quinn? I mean, are any of those guys?
McCarthy has the full season to see how he ends up. I don't know. I don't even know where this team ends up. I don't even know at this point if we make the playoffs.
What are you talking about?
Much less so I don't know where McCarthy ends up at this. I don't know where Dan Quinn ends up at this. All I'm telling you is going into the San Francisco game, I thought Dak was at least a top 7 to 8 quarterback in the NFL. Now I think he's 15 or worse.
One game did that.
One game. This game. This is the most game like playing a team like you'll meet in the playoffs. This is the game with pressure. This is the game that he himself kept saying, I have revenge to get against these guys. I'm gonna go out there and show them and show this team what we can do. And he laid another egg. Take it no more, Charlie.
That was all part of the script, though. I mean, you have to be able to understand. Quit playing checkers. We're playing chess here.
I thought we were playing football. All I'm telling you is until I see. I come from a place where the proof is in the pudding.
Well, I mean, right now, I'm just telling you. Look, I'm just telling you. Take the little red and black things, put them down, pick up your bishop, your rook, your knight. Totally different game, man. This is a long game.
They call me the fat boy for a reason. I like pudding. Until I get some pudding, I'm done.
And just with that, he's the only one that.
Otherwise, number 5, that's the stance I'm taking.
Oh, I like the fact. I'm telling you, I really think that could have happened. And then they pulled punches. And then just look at your receivers, man. None of your receivers got separation. They all just hung with the people.
His number 1 wide receiver was over there jumping up and down, livid with his own quarterback because he was too inept to get him the ball. I am tired of him. Until otherwise shown, let's move on.
Okay. We'll revisit Dak next week. Let's let him have a good week this week and then see if you just roll it on back.
Okay. Let's see.
Let's see. All right. So I talked about my Longhorns kind of having to take the L. How'd Bama do this week?
Bama did great, but what happened in your game with Texas losing, in theory, helped Bama's chances again to get back into the same playoff you want to get into. Texas losing to Oklahoma, and us beating because Texas A&M is in the SEC West with us. That put us back in first place. If we go to the SEC championship, and of course we've got to beat the vaunted Georgia. They're the 2-time defending national champion. That's fine. That's what Alabama wants. They want to be in big games with high pressure situation. And by the time we get to them, our offensive line will be better, our defense backs will be better, and our quarterback will be better. And then we'll put our best against their best. And unlike the Cowboys, our best against their best will actually come to fruition. And then we'll see who the best team in the SEC is. And then once Alabama wins that game, then it's on to the Final Four again. This will be the last year of the Final Four. I'm sure Saban wants to make the last year the Final Four. So we'll see how that goes. That's just my prediction. I've been wrong 100 times. I'll be wrong again, but that's just the way I feel about it. I felt like this weekend, assuming we keep the train rolling. This was a week. This last weekend setting us up to do exactly what Alabama wants to do.
How do you feel about your quarterback situation now?
I feel he's he's getting a lot better with making his decisions faster. He's and like Saban said, when he makes a mistake, he doesn't dwell on the mistake and let it cause on go on to the next play. He drops it and plays football, and that was what his problem. The problem was he would make a mistake and then he would dwell on it and it would cause another mistake.
Yeah.
So that him maturing is what's taking him going to take him to the next level and his progression of growth. That's why he did so bad against Texas. He made a mistake and then he felt so bad about it. He pressed himself into another mistake. That's why we lost it at home to
Hey,
Texas
hey,
because Texas capitalized on those mistakes.
that's not one.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you already come out and said they played a better team. Don't back off of that now.
Quarterback is the most important spot on the field. Me and you both know that. And if the way your team goes is the way your quarterback goes. So he looked bad against Texas. He looked bad at the beginning of the year, and he looked better this last weekend. So it's just a matter of coaching and progression and learning and maturing.
And you think he's on the right track?
Well, Saban does, and of course I trust him. I trust in the coming of the coaching of the greatest coach of all time. So yeah, I trust in Saban.
Okay, yeah, you trust in Saban because he's the greatest college coach of all time. But
Correct.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, everybody would have said, I trust in Belichick in the NFL. And now people are saying he's done, he's washed, get out of the league, go home, go fishing.
What did we say 3 weeks ago? You are what you say you are. And the last 2 weeks, Belichick has had his two worst losses of his entire New England career. Oh, the first one against Dallas, and now this last one against the Saints. And all I can tell you is, I heard in the news this week that he has decided to hang it up after this season, and I don't blame him. He has been less than mediocre without Tom Brady. Tom Brady got another Super Bowl after him. Bill Belichick has not. So it's time for Bob Kraft and that New England thing to move on. And I think Belichick's tired of it, and he's ready to move on.
It's going to be an interesting situation. We'll have to keep an eye on that and see kind of who goes up there and may take that job.
I just like the Cowboys were the first one to put a nail in old Belichick's coffin.
You think?
Yeah, old Belichick. I call him Belichick.
So we
Because
did that and we retired Tom Brady, right?
did we do that? I don't know.
So I think we knocked him out of the playoffs.
Okay, good. We did that too. So anyhow, I'm just saying, yeah, that's one of the big headlines going out through Sport News. So I wanted to make sure we touched on that, just like I want to make sure we touch on the Rangers and the Cowboys and the Bamas and
You're
Texas.
going to keep us active in everything across the way.
I'm going to try best I can.
Okay. All right. So you showed up a little better in the picks last week.
A little bit.
You actually made a showing. You got to 500. I mean,
Yes.
you didn't get above that, but you got 50-50.
I'll take it.
So, and 50, you had 5 wins out of 10, and we had a push on one. So you only lost 4.
And the push was on a game where nobody even gave a chance for a push. So the push wasn't a win, but it was a moral victory. Not a lot of people like that word, moral victory.
I don't think you get moral victories when you're betting the spread. Sorry.
Well, I'm just saying, to me, it was a moral victory.
Well, I mean, I understand. After the record you'd been going, you'd
I'll
have
take
put
more.
pushes all across the board and been excited.
Yes, correct.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, I've again decided that I think last week was a fluke. I think 500 you overachieved. I think you
Okay.
last week, and I'm gonna let you pick, and I'll just take the other side of whatever you want to pick this week, and
Well,
I'm gonna ride with that.
let's rock and roll.
All right, so we'll start off with NCAA again. First game we got is Oregon at Washington -3.
Yeah. I watched Oregon embarrass Colorado, and
Okay,
this game is very interesting. There's gonna be a lot of hype around this game. I don't really know what game date is this week. I didn't look, but it wouldn't be surprising if it was at this game because Oregon and Washington is they got two real good quarterbacks, and they got two real good head coaches. So this is gonna be a juggernaut of a football game. So therefore, I'm gonna take Oregon.
you're gonna take Oregon. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, all right. So up next we got Texas A&M that just lost to your Bama boys down there, going to Tennessee. Tennessee's -3.5.
Uh, yeah, I think Texas A&M will bounce back. I think their quarterback, I can't remember his name, but I think he'll bounce back. And I'm gonna take Texas A&M in that game.
Taking
Um,
A&M in that game.
yeah,
I think
even
I
even,
think putting
even playing on Rocky
and
Top.
playing Bama close, but okay.
Okay.
And remember, y'all played them at home. They got to go to Tennessee. But
Yep.
all right, so next is Kansas -3 at Oklahoma State.
Give me Kansas.
You're taking Kansas.
Yep. Rock Chalk Jayhawk.
Okay. All right. So next, we've got BYU at TCU. TCU 6-point favorites.
Yep. Give me BYU. This is my upset pick of the week.
Wow. All right. And the last game we got in college is Iowa at Wisconsin. Wisconsin -10.
I want Iowa in a field goal football game. I see this game ended up about 10-7.
I see your picks ending up about like the first couple of weeks we did this.
Well,
So
there you go.
you're on a roll. All right, so moving to the NFL. We've got the Colts at the Jaguars. Jaguars are 4-point favorites.
I took the Jags over the Bills last week, and you thought I was on crack, and I'm staying with the Jags to beat the Colts.
This is the one that I wished I could go against you on because the quarterback for the Colts has a shoulder injury, but it is what it is. So we'll see what they can pull out down here.
Yep.
So the next game is the Detroit Lions -3 at the Buccaneers.
I'm taking the Bucks.
Taking the Bucks. It's amazing how, for some reason, you think home field advantage matters in the NFL, but in college you went with all the road teams.
Well,
I,
I
I,
just I just go with what I think.
hey, trust your gut. All right,
Yep.
so Saints
I got
-1.5 at the Texans.
I'm taking the Texans. I personally don't understand this line. To me, if anything, I think the Texans right this minute, even after the win against New England, I think the Texans are a better team than the Saints.
That's why you got to pick them. That's okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right, so this next one, the 49ers.
I wouldn't pick the 49ers with your mouth.
Hold on. The 49ers -5.5 at the Browns.
Browns.
Taking the Browns.
I don't care if I lose. I don't care if that's an automatic walk. Give me. I wouldn't pick the Niners after the way they did my Cowboys for nothing in the world. I don't care if I do lose.
I kind of understand why you don't do well picking games now because you're way too emotional about all this. Here's the
Yeah, sure I am.
Finally, the Cowboys -2 at the Chargers.
I'm taking the Cowboys. Go defense.
The only road team that you took in the NFL is the Cowboys.
Yep.
After what they just went through, you took the Cowboys. Okay.
Yep. But you know, I didn't say I'm with Dak and the Cowboys. I said go defense.
Let's see if after this game he throws 5 touchdowns and 400 yards.
I'll be proud of the defense.
You'll be proud of the defense.
Yep.
You're so fickle.
Very, very fickle.
You're very fickle.
And you just don't understand. This is just what's going on the podcast now. This has been coming. Like I told you, I've been on this train for 8 years, and this game was the straw that broke the camel's back, bald guy. And I'm telling you, I ain't taking it no more. Either he's going to show me, or I'm out.
No, you're out. You're out. You don't get to jump back on the train. You are out, sir. You have give up on him.
The only way he could get me back on the train, because I would win 2 bets, is if he were to win the Super Bowl, and I would become a Dak fan again. If he could prove me wrong and win the Super Bowl this year, I'll give him one more. I'll give him another chance. But that's the only way I can get back on.
Okay. All right. Well, remember that as we get closer, you're gonna have to take back your Dak hate. If
only way you just win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, ain't no problem.
Okay, I need to give a short update. I talked to my buddy that's got the wrestling deal on the 21st. We have committed to go there. We're going. Me and Charlie are going to be VIPs. I think it's October the 24th. It's at Addison, and we'll but a little bit closer. We have after this podcast, we have the advertisement. Can you put that out legally?
As long as they authorize it, I believe so. Yeah.
Okay. And we're going to go up there to Addison, and we're going to film a little bit of live wrestling, and then we're going to come back on our podcast, and we're going to talk about everything we usually talk about. We're also going to talk about that wrestling event we go to and what they're doing up there in Addison. He's going to have this event. He told me today that his promotion is partnership. And I don't know if you know Billy. Have you ever heard of Billy Corgan? He was a rock and roll guy for Smashing Pumpkins. He's that Billy Corgan. You know what I'm talking about now?
Okay. Yeah.
Billy Corgan. He owns a promotion called the NWA. He bought the NWA a few years ago. Well, my buddy and Billy Corgan have been in discussion to bring the NWA to Texas, and that deal got semi-finalized today. So the NWA is going to start coming to Texas to do some events with my buddy there in Addison, for which is kind of a big deal. If you don't know about old territory wrestling and old NWA wrestling, it's something. I don't know exactly what it is, but we're on the ground floor of this with my buddy. We're gonna go up there. We're gonna look at it. We're gonna talk to him, and we're gonna report back to y'all. I don't know how great it will be. It may be the best wrestling we've ever seen. I don't know. But he's asked us to do this, and me and the bald guy have a sports podcast now, and we're trying to build an audience. So this is the one thing we're going to try to do to build that audience. So just give us your feedback, and just hang with us. We're just going to keep doing things like this to increase and improve our product.
Right. So I mean, because we're not only a sports podcast, we're an entertainment podcast too.
Correct. I know you completely deny as professional wrestling being a sport. I just call it a scripted sport. So therefore, that's fine. I'll take whatever I get, especially since you're driving. You're my ride.
You will.
So therefore, I just it's a free night of wrestling for me. So I'm looking forward to that. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I'm just like anybody else. I want something free. So and so we're gonna go up there and do that. And then we're gonna report back on our podcast, and we're gonna do everything else we do as well. And of course, after the Astros get through with playing around with the Twins, then that series will start, and then we'll be reporting on the Rangers as they keep going, and then of course everything else.
All right. No, it sounds good. It's a good update. I'm excited to go up there and look at it. Like I said, I hadn't seen Texas independent wrestling since I was a young kid back in like the Von Erich days. So this will be something different to go up there and check out, and we'll see what it does. So
Right.
all right. Well, thanks everybody for joining us. Like, subscribe. If you're on TikTok and you're seeing one of the clips,
I know. He says like you can like us to dislike us as well. I like people that doesn't agree with what I say. So if you want to come on in and tell me how big a dummy I am, I want you to do that. Feel free to do that. Just subscribe to do it.
oh, okay. See, everybody likes me. So I mean, I understand you could catch a little hate, but I mean everybody loves
I
me.
would. I would. I don't want a little hate. I want all the hate. They can fill it. They can fill up my inbox with hate if they want to. I just want to get my numbers up and get some people watching on my podcast because I just want to be. I mean, I don't know if anybody else knows this, but I want to be famous.
You're already infamous to a lot of people.
I know that's right.
Hi, well,
So
you
so
guys
roll tide.